financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is stop. Making moves before bankruptcy is the last thing you want to do. And we got to talk about the eviction defense program a bit. Brian Small, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. Again, a lot on our plate today. This is like 2 shows in a row.
Sounds like deja vu. Jeffrey Linden, good morning.
Good morning, Ken.
Pat Simasko.
Hi, how are you?
How's the elder law professor? Should I call you Professor Simasko?
I actually put it on my business cards, Professor. Yeah.
Do they call you Professor?
Oh, yeah. They absolutely. Even the students after they graduated, our lawyers now, they call me Professor Simasko. So I'm going to hold you guys to a lot higher to standard. No more BS crap out of your mouths.
What was the old show where there was the professor, the science show?
Gilligan's Island? There's a professor on that.
The show was before you guys. I will bring back for you next segment.
Bill Nye, the science guy?
That's not before.
Maybe. There was a guy we called him,
kids.
he was called the professor. I just don't know.
I just
Anyway,
remember Gilligan's Island.
not enough time
My
to
favorite Martian?
kid about it. No. I'm sure that was what you studied when you went to school. Making moves before bankruptcy. But before we talk about that, the eviction defense program. You know, the moratorium's going on. We covered it in the last segment, but I just kind of want to lay out a little bit more clarity on one issue of you need to defend that eviction proceeding to buy yourself time to obtain the federal and state assistance that's available. That money is your item that you use to negotiate with the landlord. The best way to negotiate with the landlord is if you have something good to give him, which is what he really wants is money. And by using that leverage, you can buy the time with the landlord to negotiate a deal, hopefully to keep you in the property or to keep you there long enough so you can find other arrangements that work for you.
That's the problem, right? People are going to realize that there's no place to go. You're going to be moving into your parents' basements because there is no available housing out there.
There's a lack of housing, and you also have the problem if you're the tenant and you're trying to now go into a new apartment, the new landlords are saying, okay, fill out the application, we want to do a credit check. What happened with your previous pay history?
Give me a referral from your last landlord.
If they can rent to the person that's got the 750 credit score, they're going to pick that person quicker.
That's the landlord aggression fund that's we're creating.
Well, remember, regardless of whether that is true or not, there are going to be plenty of places that people can lease out.
Yes, that's true, you're right.
The opportunity to get into that place, your place isn't going to be available until December 1, but you're getting evicted on October 1. Okay, what are you going to do for that period of time? If, by taking advantage of our eviction defense program, you could still sit in your current residence until you have to move to your new residence. Instead of being in a hotel, being in mom and dad's basement, living in your car. Okay, these are the things that are going to happen if you don't act, if you don't defend the lawsuit, if you don't take advantage of the money that's out there.
A quick point. It's not necessarily being in mom and dad's basement. Mom and dad might be in your basement.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a serious problem, and it's a difficult situation. People are, but it is a situation of where you stand now and you have to deal with it. How you got there is not even relevant at this point.
It's easy
what's
fix.
your leverage
Go
to
get
go
the
forward.
money.
But it's not such an easy fix because not everybody qualifies for the money.
But you got to apply for the money.
You do have to apply. And second, though, there are other tools out there that will help you stay in your property, including bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is possibly one of the best opportunities to help you, because the bankruptcy system, the way it works, it trudges slowly, which means that you want to stay in your property until you can get into the next one. You want to wipe out the $15,000 in back rent that you owe the old landlord.
And there's another aspect to it. If you, let's say, the reason why you have a difficulty in paying the rent is because you're saddled with credit card debt and other obligations. You file a bankruptcy, you get rid of those obligations. You still get the money from the federal and state programs to make the deal with the landlord, and then you have a catch-up deal with the landlord for the balance that he's owed, but you now have, by discharging your other debts, you have the cash flow that allows you to make those payments. So there's a lot of opportunities to solve the problem, but you've got to take action to do so. And the worst case scenario is this: if you wait to already the order of eviction has been issued against you,
It's too late.
the bailiff can throw you out at any day onto the street, and you come to us. Brian can throw you into a bankruptcy and buy you 30, 60 days.
No, bankruptcy after an order of eviction has been granted will buy you additional 30 days.
Okay, but it's not the time to do it. The better time is before the judgment for possession. Then we have a lot more opportunities to protect you and to cut a deal with the landlord. You lose leverage once you get to that point of the order of eviction or the you lose the leverage once the judgment for possession is entered against you.
Yeah.
So you need to take action. All right, so now let's talk about moves before bankruptcy, because this is what I consider is everyone wants to make these moves before they go even and see the bankruptcy attorney.
I'll fix it before I go see the attorney, because I only want to tell him part of the story. That's really what it really comes down to, and I got to tell you something, it screws everything up.
I frame it this way: the best intentions can create the worst outcomes. And who are the ones that give you these ideas?
I think my wife has that philosophy about me. Every time I think I'm doing something right, it's like,
She's shaking. But does she give you credit for the intention?
no.
No. We got to work on.
She gives me credit for being dumb.
We got to work on the first half, and at least you get you some credit. But who is it? It's Jerry the bartender, Fred the best friend, and Jack the card player that are giving people all this advice with the good intention of helping them, but it's a bad outcome. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to explain the risks and why you don't want to make these mistakes. COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We are here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Will I outlive my money?
Medicaid is so confusing.
A will, or do I need a trust?
What if mom needs to go in a nursing home?
At Samasco Law, we have the answers to all of these questions. Our attorneys will eliminate the confusion and develop a plan that's right for you. We are dedicated to veterans benefits, assisted living, and nursing home care. Samasco Law can help prepare you for a long future. Call Samasco Law today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We have a program. We've already developed it and put it in place, and we've been waiting for the rollout for the moratorium to go down. It's called the Eviction Defense Program, the EDP by THAV GROSS, and we've developed it and put it in play. But here's the big point, which you were making. You're going to get evicted if you're a tenant, and you need to get on top of this, and you need to defend it, and you need to do everything you can to protect your interests. And the last thing that you want to do is do nothing.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. All right, so I'm going to throw out the recommendations that Jerry and Jack the card player and Fred the best friend give, and then we'll let Brian lead us through in terms of why these are big mistakes. Okay, or like, let me give you a scenario first. John and Rita. Okay, these are our clients. John needs to file a bankruptcy. He's got $25,000 of cash in the bank. He owes Rita's dad $20,000. And he owns a 1967 Candy Apple Red Firebird, valued $10,000. John wants to give Rita's dad the Firebird and $10,000 of cash before he files the bankruptcy. That's what Jerry told him to do. Now, side note, why did I say Candy Apple Red Firebird?
Was that your first car?
Did you have one?
That was my first car.
Yes.
Very short story. First day I owned the car, obviously it was a used car, me and 5 buddies crammed into the Firebird, drove to the Hazel Park racetrack to watch the last 4 races you'd get in for free, parked at the bowling alley across the street, come out after the 10th race, no car. Stolen. First day I owned it. But I did get it back.
Okay.
So I think all of these stories relate back to your child. So you had a Jerry the bartender, you had Fred with your
Everybody
best
had
friend.
a Jerry the bartender.
But let's get to the point.
Okay, so what's wrong with that? Can I do that?
Well, of course you can do it.
Will it work?
But did you want to file bankruptcy?
Yeah, I wanted to, but I don't want. I want Rita's dad taken care of. He's my he's my father-in-law.
So
if I don't, Rita's going to be on my case.
So Rita's dad is an insider. He has a different set of rules that he gets to play with in the world of bankruptcy than Visa and MasterCard. Rita's dad, if you pay him back, so he's owed $25,000 legitimately, or $20,000 legitimately, he gets paid back equivalent cash and an equivalent value Firebird. That's fine, but it's also called a preference. John preferred Rita's dad over MasterCard, as anyone would. You want to pay your relatives back over Visa and MasterCard.
So you're saying I can't do that?
You can, but you have to wait a year and a day to file bankruptcy from the time you pay that debt off.
Oh, okay. So I give Rita's dad the $10,000 cash. I give him the car, and then I wait a year before I file the bankruptcy.
Yeah, but you qualify for the bankruptcy today based on your income and expenses. A year from now, you might be back to work full full bore, you might be making a lot more money, and you might not qualify for that bankruptcy. So now you're stuck with the debt.
Yeah, I don't like waiting the year, but even if I had to wait the year, can I just ask a question? Can I give him the car, but can I still drive it all the time because it's my car?
Well, if it's titled in his name and you paid him back and he lets you use the car, yes.
What if I have to carry the insurance?
Still
No.
yes.
No, he has to
Well,
carry
the insurance policy has
back.
to be in his name, but it has to be a rider in
Okay,
your
but
name.
I have to transfer title to
Yes.
him, and I'd have to wait a year.
Yeah.
You know, everything you're saying though, it's just a plan though. So if you go to see Brian and say, you know what, you want to do this, sounds
gotta
great.
plan.
But
Wait a year.
here's
Wait
the
a year.
problem.
A lot
The
can
problem
happen in a year.
isn't that they want to do it and that we can't plan it. The problem is they did it before they walked into
Yeah.
my office, and now they want to file the bankruptcy right now.
Yeah, if I already did it before I saw you.
Because John is also getting garnished from
Yeah.
Visa, who sued him.
So
And
what do you do then?
Well, that's where it becomes a problem. Sometimes we have to undo the transfer. the
Dad already
preference.
spent the money in the car's trash.
Yeah, well, that's also a problem. So this is why
No,
don't-
actually, Dad likes the Firebird. He's not giving it back
Don't
to me.
do the thing you think is right without coming in to see me, because 99% of the time, if you do it without advice, you've done something wrong.
But I heard that it's only a 90-day rule. Now you're saying it's 1 year.
So it's 90 days if you were to pay back a non-relative, non-insider.
Jerry, the bartender, told me
Yeah.
that your father-in-law is not a
Jerry
relative.
makes a living selling drinks, not doing
Well,
bankruptcy.
is your father-in-law a relative?
Yes.
Yes.
He is considered an insider in the
Okay,
bankruptcy
but
code.
let me just make sure it's
So
something
that's
clear.
a real word.
But your
That's just
mother,
not a made-up
maybe
word.
No,
your
that's not a made-up word. That's a real
maybe
word.
your father-in-law could be a relative, but don't tell me that your mother-in-law is a relative.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, mother-in-law. Okay. All right. So the 1 year is for a insider, which is a relative.
Right. And that's a
business,
preference.
Is a business partner also an insider?
Yes, a business partner can be an insider. And it gets a little different, though. Sometimes what they do is they transfer the asset to the father-in-law or the mother-in-law or anybody else, not to repay a debt, but to give it away before I filed bankruptcy. Because if I don't own it,
Yeah.
I protect it.
I'm just transferring you. I'm going to transfer my Firebird to Pat.
For the house. You put
called
someone on the house.
Yeah, for no consideration. That's called a fraudulent transfer.
And what's that limitation? What's the time on that?
There's a 2-year statute under the Bankruptcy Code and a 6-year statute under the Michigan
So I
Fraudulent
can't go to
Transfer Act.
Pat and just say, here, I'm going to transfer title to my Firebird. It's yours. Once I'm done with the bankruptcy and so forth, sell it back to me for $1.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
We have this
that's
handshake agreement.
That's fraud. And a bankruptcy trustee is going to know that you had the Firebird. He's going to know where it went, and he's just going to go get it.
No, that's a question. What do you mean go get it? So
He's
he gave
going to
this-
sue you.
He actually goes to court and he files and he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
And
people forget that, there's a paper trail in government
Right.
records of what you have, your bank accounts, your
So
assets.
if I never put the title to the Firebird in my name, because when I bought it I never recorded and changed the title,
Okay, so
then
now
would it
we're
be okay
still-
if I did that?
Yeah, do you like jail?
No,
Three
I'm not
squares
really
a
a
day.
fan. I've never been a fan of jail.
Okay, so
I've never
let's-
actually been in a jail to be a fan
So
of
that
it.
would be bankruptcy fraud.
So you can't do that either.
You can't do that either.
Okay,
So-
But,
so-
you
but
do things-
before we get to the break, understand this. All of these issues can be addressed through proper planning.
Right.
We'll take a break and then we'll come back. We have a program. We've already developed it and put it in place, and we've been waiting for the rollout for the moratorium to go down. It's called the Eviction Defense Program, the EDP by THAV GROSS, and we've developed it and put it in play. But here's the big point, which you were making. You're going to get evicted if you're a tenant, and you need to get on top of this, and you need to defend it, and you need to do everything you can to protect your interests. And the last thing that you want to do is do nothing.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us to Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays 7 a.m. and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. You can always come in at THAV GROSS for a free consultation. We're doing them via teleconference, live in the office, Zoom conferences, and phone conferences. You know, with COVID, you've got to be flexible, so we can do it any way that you want. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online and sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff, criminal law issues with Scott Weinberg. Also remember, you can always sign up for our free webinar, debt relief webinar online. Go to thavgross.com or lawandreality.com. You get all the answers you need in terms of solving your debt issues, solutions with bankruptcy, as well as solutions outside of bankruptcy. Also, go to our website for free reports, Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by myself and Jeff Linden, Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan, and The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Simasko Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem. All right, we're back. So, Pat, what was your reaction to that?
For Medicaid planning, we hear everything. They said I can give away the money, I can give away this and that. If you can protect the money legally, why try to protect it illegally? If you can protect it with Brian the right way, why try and do it the wrong way?
Most times, those assets that people are trying to scramble to give away, we can protect through federal or state exemptions. You get to keep them, nobody can touch them, and then after you file your bankruptcy, you can pay back your father-in-law. It's perfectly legit the day after the bankruptcy is filed.
Yeah, it's a good point. 40 years practicing law. I've never been presented with a factual situation where we couldn't plan it out to make it work. The key is you don't want to make it more difficult for us by making the mistakes ahead of the time.
Right.
You come in first and talk about it, then we do what we can do, and we don't do what we can't do so that we have it planned correctly.
And you know what? On top of that, it's a whole lot less expensive for the client if you're not trying to fix something and undo something.
Can we do the taxes now?
Sure.
Okay, so here, John and Rita also owes back taxes. 2016, 10 grand, 17, 15 grand, 18, 15 grand, 19, 5 grand. They got $25,000 in cash. Jerry, the bartender, says, You don't want the IRS going after you in your bankruptcy. You should use your cash to pay the taxes, and then it won't be shared with the credit card companies. And you should always pay the oldest taxes off first.
No.
Pay the lawyer first.
Absolutely
Warriors.
the opposite way to go about it.
Jerry really botched. All right, what's the rule on taxes?
So income taxes are dischargeable in bankruptcy. If they came due at least 3 years ago, have been filed for at least 2 years, and you haven't been assessed in the last 8 months. So in this case, we have John and Rita that owe taxes 16, 17, 18, 19, and possibly even 20. They may not have even filed that return yet. 16 and 17 are dischargeable in the bankruptcy. 18, to give you an idea, would be dischargeable next April of 22.
So if I followed Jerry's advice and I paid off 16's taxes of $10,000 and 17's taxes of $15,000, which were dischargeable,
take a picture.
Can I get the money back?
Throw. I want you to go home, and I want you to take $100 out of your wallet if you have 100, and I want you to drop it in the toilet. And then I want you to flush.
Except you're saying do it 2,500 times if I'm going to throw away
25,000 times.
Well, no, it's a $100 bill.
Jerry's plan is guaranteeing that you pay the IRS and lose the ability to protect yourself through bankruptcy.
And then you have to pay, so that's the worst possible advice.
No, if you were going to pay the IRS off, you would direct your payment towards the non-dischargeable years, which would be
the
18 and 19.
You can actually identify that on the check.
Absolutely,
Yes.
you do identify that on the check. So, again, Jerry means well, but he should stick to serving vodka.
Jerry also said I should catch up on my mortgage payments that are behind.
So sometimes that's a good idea, and sometimes that's not. Remember, I said you can keep the assets, and in order to qualify for bankruptcy, sometimes being behind is a benefit because it helps you pass what's called the means test. Because all those arrearages and all those tax obligations that you haven't paid off assist you in passing the means test. If you have paid off those obligations, you don't get the deduction for that means test.
So that's a sometimes maybe.
Yeah, but
okay,
don't do it before you come see me.
Fred, my best friend, said...
Fred's an idiot. I don't even know that.
Take your money out of your 401k and pay off the credit cards you want to keep.
Never take the money out of the 401k.
But I want to keep my American Express.
Okay, American Express is going to learn about your bankruptcy one way or the other, and they are going to cancel you. Period. Whether you want them to or not. 90% of those credit cards are going to cancel you whether you want them to or not.
Well, then how am I going to survive without a credit card?
You know what? There's all sorts of ways to get credit. The day after your bankruptcy, credit is available to you.
Use the 401k after you bankruptcy.
We've never had a client where had the problem of saying, if I can't have a credit card, how am I going to travel? We've never seen that problem actually play out, even though everyone worries about it.
Please, anybody watching this, for God's sakes, do not touch your 401k and your IRA to pay credit card debt.
All right, time for the wrap-up. The key point of this show...
A lot of passion in this show. I feel the passion.
Don't make the dumb mistakes. If you have a debt problem, you come in, we review it, we plan it out before you make any
individual
moves.
Solution.
Don't don't be the lawyer. Be the client. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.